Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. 580 Live is presented by Thornhill Automotive and is broadcast live from the Parmar Stores studio. The country, the United States of America. The state, West Virginia. The city, Charleston. This is 580 Live. And your host of 580 Live.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Tuesday morning to you from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, Voice of Charleston, WCHS. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text, 304-935-5008. 580 Live, brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Toyota. Come check out the new Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and more. And at Thornhill, they're not just selling cars, they're creating unforgettable adventures. Click or come by Thornhill Toyota, WV.com, or visit in person on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 in Chapmanville. And we do the show from the Parmar Store studio. If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. Parmar invites you to join them this Thursday night for Wally and Wimpy's night at Buffalo Wild Wings in Cross Lane, starting at about 6. Lots of great prizes, food and drink specials, and more. Be sure to pick up your copy of the state's premier football publication, Wally and Wimpy's, at your local Parmar. And remember, there's not a Parmar store near you now. There will be soon. Coming up on the show a little bit later on, we're going to be joined by West Virginia's Secretary of State and candidate for Governor, Mac Warner. He is out with a warning. We're going to talk a little bit about the campaign, but he's out with a warning in his role as Secretary of State to social media platforms. We're going to get to the bottom of that with Mac Warner coming up a little bit later on. Plus, as the crisis with prisons in West Virginia continues, we're going to talk to Brad McElhenney about some things going on under the dome as the legislature will continue, and they'll actually wrap up their interims today. Brad will join us to talk about that a little bit later on. But your calls and texts are welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858, and the text line from Fruth, 304-935-5008. Well, you may have heard that Chick-fil-A at Southridge is closing. Well, it's a temporary. Calm down, folks. It's just temporary, but it's serious business in the world of chicken when you go messing with the people's chicken. Tom Minturn from Chick-fil-A joins us right now. Tom, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for being here. It is serious business, man.
When
you start talking about shutting down the Lord's Chicken. You realize that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I've already been told. Not threatened quite, but just been told. It's like, what are we going to do? So.
Yeah. So tell us the story here. What's the deal here? Why is it closing temporarily?
Honestly, it's been 12 years we've been open. We're doing a little refresh, a little remodel to get us. We have a drive-through door, and most of you, if you've been to the new restaurant, McCorkle Avenue, you'll see the drive-through door. Just give us some more space. We're actually, I had the bad news. We're going to be taking out our playground. I'm not sure if I should mention it on the air.
Oh, no.
You might get some text messages or calls on that one. So, but yes, taking out the playground just to provide more seating, just provide more, because when we open up our drive-through, it's going to take away some of the seating, so we just need to replace that seating back. So we're growing. We're progressing. It's a good thing to be in a growth mode.
How long has it been open out there?
12 years.
12 years.
12 years, November 3rd. So
okay, and so there hasn't been any. I'm presuming there's not been any major upgrades during that time frame, right? Just little things here and there.
There has not been. Minor little things,
right?
New dining room furniture, those kind of things. That's about it.
So what kind of time frame are we looking at now? Is it closed now? I mean,
it is closed. We closed it on Saturday.
Closed on Saturday.
So
okay.
So
what was? I got to ask you because I'm just weird about this. So was it just like at the end of the business? You just closed it?
We actually closed at 5 o'clock. So
okay. Did you have to run people out of there, or what did you do?
Kind of. We kept forewarning, and we kind of said we knew we'd be busy up until
all right,
that
Grandma,
moment, so.
Put down the chicken. You're out.
Yes,
is that what
exactly.
you said?
Yes, exactly. Pretty much. Say we can't serve any more people. So
okay.
No, it was good. Our team, we needed a little bit of time to get everything ready, to get things. We did move some stuff over and make sure. All of our team is still employed. They're just going to McCorkle Avenue to work.
Okay,
all our
that's
full-time
great.
people,
That's great.
we made sure they're taken care of. So I know that was a concern. I've already gotten questions from the public saying, "Hey, are they going to be taking?" Of course, we do everything we can to make sure our team is taken care of. So
what kind of time frame, Tom, are we talking about here?
They're telling us
Approximately
about 2.5 weeks.
About
so
2.5
I said,
weeks.
well, with any remodel, so I just said, go ahead. It might as well make it 3 because no remodel happens according to the time frame. They
never
tell
does.
us. So I said, so just give us 21 days, right?
Yeah, I mean, so in the meantime, as you kind of mentioned there, Tom, there are other Chick-fil-A's where people can get their fix between now and then.
Yes, sir. I'll say you can always go to our other restaurant, McCorkle Avenue. Alan Smith is the owner of the one in the mall. He'll be open as well. So either one of us will take great care of you, and so it'll be good. So growth is good. And
even though it's kind of across the road, of course, the big announcement yesterday was about that section of road opening up across the way there at Trace Fork from Jefferson Road. So that's, even though, as I said, it's across the way, it's going to impact you as well a little bit.
Yes, it will.
Easier access.
Yes, easier access. That way you can get your chicken faster and quicker. That's the main thing.
So that is the main thing. So tell me about your background. How did you get in the Chick-fil-A business?
That's a great story. So I started with Chick-fil-A in Lynchburg, Virginia. I graduated from I went to graduate school at Liberty University.
But you're a local guy.
I'm a local guy. I'm from Fayette County. I grew up there, and then moved away for a little bit, and I moved a little bit around the country. I owned my first Chick-fil-A in Columbus, Ohio. I was there a little over 5 years. I had the opportunity to come home to Charleston. As soon as I got the opportunity, I jumped on it. I wanted to be home, and I tell people I'm doubly blessed. I get to do what I love to do, sell chicken, impact people's lives, and then also get to do it back home in Charleston.
So here's the $1 million question. What is it that makes Chick-fil-A so popular, in your opinion?
I honestly think our food's got to be great. People they come for the food, but they come back because of our great service, just because we want to make sure we take great care of you.
And what is the secret to getting people in and out of that drive-thru as quickly as what you do?
It's a system and it's efficiency. It's just making sure everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. So
right. Talking again with Tom Minturn of Chick-fil-A. They closed the Southridge location Saturday at 5:00. 2 to 3 weeks. That's what you're looking at. Hopefully. I mean, we're already in the Christmas season. I mean, like it or not, we're not even Halloween yet, but I know you definitely want to be up and running, in time for the Christmas shopping, which is already going on, by the way.
Oh, yes, exactly. Well, probably not for us, but for some people it is.
Yeah.
Yes. I'll say most of mine starts my wife's birthday is December 10th, so I don't be shopping until after that.
You're working on that right now.
Yes, exactly. Right.
So when people come out for the first time, you planning like any kind of a ribbon cutting, or are you just going to say, hey, we're open, come see the new location?
No, we're going to we'll do something for a re-grand opening, try to make it as big as possible to make sure. And we do not have all the plans ironed out, but we're going to be doing something fun for the public. We'll make sure it's a big announcement so everybody knows we're reopening. And so as I say that we're reopening, one of the things I'll make sure that I'll say we'll be needing more people. I'll say we're in a growth mode. So we pay well, we offer benefits, 401k, we offer all the good benefits, and it's a full package that you can get with us. So
one of the things, Tom, that I have noticed about Chick-fil-A is it seems like that a lot of the employees stay there for a while, because in the world of fast food, I know you don't like the term fast food, but it is what it is, and people kind of bounce around there at McDonald's or Wendy's or different places, whatever. But it seems to me like there's not as great a turnover at a Chick-fil-A as there are at some other similar locations.
That is true. We're about half the national average, and a lot of it is we pay. I mean, honestly, we pay well. We start $15-16 an hour, and then you have the abilities to earn more. And then, like I said, just the fact we offer all the retirement benefits, we offer insurance, and that's for all team members. That doesn't, we don't say it's not just for leadership. So making sure we're very clear with that, and so. We always say, people will come work with us, and they stay because of the culture. We have a really healthy culture. We focus on making sure that we are very competitive and at the same time have a great team environment.
So one question I want to ask you is about the breakfast that was introduced several years ago. The breakfast continues to be really, really hot for Chick-fil-A.
It does. And people always ask me, they say, what's your favorite thing? And I'm like, I said, it just depends. I was like,
that's going to be my next question.
I'll say, sorry, I wasn't trying to get ahead of you, but I'll say, it just depends. Like our spicy biscuits, amazing. Our chicken minis, the little rolls, the honey butter on them are great. If you want to go the healthy side, which I like to do sometimes, the egg white grill is amazing. We just have a lot of great So we have a lot of great products. Our burritos are great. I'll say it's just our chicken biscuits are phenomenal. That's our number one seller. So that and chicken minis are back and forth our number one sellers.
And one of the great things, one of the several great things about Chick-fil-A is your willingness to give back to the community. I
Yes.
mean, that's a big part of not just your stores, but stores nationwide and worldwide in giving back to the community.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, our founder, Truett Cathy, always says you can't outgive God. So I feel like we always have, just at a personal level, we always have money set aside, like for situations whenever there's a crisis. Unfortunately, even when the South Charleston Fire Department, when their truck was an accident, we were able to jump on board and help make sure all their team was fed quickly because we were, aware of it. We had that's one area we give back. Then we love to support schools and support the students and student athletes and student organizations, just to be able to give back to them, to make sure that we're able to help them. We do a lot of fundraising as well, but just feel like to give back to the community, because they're the ones that come and support us. So we want to be able to give back. It's just who we are.
What goes into deciding, Tom, where a Chick-fil-A goes? Because I know every community would love to have every little hollow, and you're sort of a country guy, as am I. What goes into deciding where you put a Chick-fil-A? Because I know people always say, well, I want this in my neighborhood.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into it.
Oh, there really is. And one of the things is kind of like people, we do things a little different. We have a real estate department that comes out of Atlanta that does all the selection of all the site selection. But I will say this, they're usually looking for anchor stores, 3 or 4 good anchor stores. They're also looking for high traffic areas and looking for places, get close to interstate, close to university, close to hospitals. Those kind of things are, where they have a good population. That's the main thing. And one thing is people don't know about Chick-fil-A is we build only according to cash flow. So we don't take a lot of credit out. We just build according to cash. So that's a really important thing for us to make sure we make the right decision.
A couple of texts here. One says, you won't find better Chick-fil-A's than Tom's. They are the best.
Oh, wow. That's a huge compliment.
There
Thank
you go. There you go.
We try our best.
Text says, ask him why they don't put the menu signs at the very beginning of the lines of the drive-thru. I always order the same thing because they take your order before you see what they have.
Oh, that's a great question. Part of it is we feel like that a lot of the people already know, they are aware of our brand and know what they, and ironically enough, they're actually testing this in some places. They're not even putting menus out because they think that people already know what they want and know the Chick-fil-A brand well enough. Now, I don't want to say as a step of arrogance, we don't want that to happen, but if it's we can definitely make that change. Tell them all they need to do is ask for a menu. We'll get them a menu. So
there you go. All right, Tom Minturn, I'm going to ask you this final question before I go, because I have a couple of friends that are in a similar business to yours. And was there any product that Chick-fil-A introduced that didn't work?
Oh, wow. Oh, I will say there's a couple of them that have gone away. That
right,
yeah.
And there's so much that goes into that and deciding what to keep on the menu. And I'll ask this part of the question. What is the top selling thing on the menu?
Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Just a simple chicken sandwich.
I mean, I say that, and the fries are the top selling because fries go with all the menu items. So fries like 80% of people who order lunch items order fries. So it's a huge, but if you think about just the entrees, it's going to be the chicken sandwich. So, and then the nuggets.
Okay. Just the simple stuff. People like that. People like that.
Yes.
All right. So again, let's recap. You closed on Saturday at 5:00 out at Southridge, looking at a couple weeks before you're going to reopen bigger and better than ever, as they say.
That's right. We're hoping to reopen. I'm thinking it'll be about 3 weeks, but it could be as early as 2.5. So.
Okay. But sometimes when you're in the construction business, or you're relying on other people, and especially since COVID, I mean, supply chain issues are still a thing. They really are. And it's the smallest little thing sometimes that you can't get. Tom Minturn, Chick-fil-A, I appreciate you being here. We'll eagerly be anticipating your opening here in a couple of weeks. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Hang out with me here for 1 second. 580 Live brought to you part by QC Kinetics of Huntington and Cross Lanes. Now, imagine living your life this fall with no more pain in your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back. QC Kinetics can make it happen without steroid surgery, pain pills, or downtime. Call QC Kinetics of Huntington and Cross Lanes for a complimentary consultation. 304-202-5566. 304-202-5566 for QC Kinetics of Huntington and Cross Lanes. Brad McElhenney coming up next from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses have been creating jobs in West Virginia since 1997.
Thrive with 5 at the best community bank in the Kanawha Valley, Poca Valley Bank. Poca Valley Bank is now offering a certificate of deposit special, 10-month APY, annual percentage yield 5%. Take advantage of this great rate to grow your savings. For more information, stop by a Poca Valley Bank location today or call 844-782-2651. Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Certain terms and conditions apply. Rates based on minimum annual percentage yield. Subject to change without notice. Minimum deposit required of $10,000 of new money not currently on deposit with Poca Valley Bank to receive APY. Member FDIC.
Are you ready to make every adventure awesome? Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
Hi everyone, this is Danny Jones. As I've said many times, I've bought multiple cars from Larry Dawson's Auto Sales in Nitro, a few sight unseen. I trust Larry, and you can too. But the dealership also supports the local community. Every year, Larry picks out a local school and supports the athletic programs of that school. So when you buy from Larry, you're also helping the community. So keep Larry Dawson's in mind when you want to buy a car. You can visit LarryDawsons.com or go to 418 First Avenue, and Larry Dawson's place to go is in Nitro.
Sunday on Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Get ready for a gridiron clash on 580 WCHS this Sunday. The Cleveland Browns and Indianapolis Colts face off pregame at 12:30. Will the Browns extend their winning streak, or will the Colts defend their home turf?
Fake handoff. Watson looking down the middle. He's got Cooper wide open for a touchdown.
Mark your calendars for hard-hitting NFL action Sunday at 12:30 on the Voice of Charleston 580 WCHS.
924, 580 Live, brought to you part by Meeks Realty Group. Discover the unrivaled expertise of Meeks Realty Group, your ultimate partners in all things real estate. Whether it's your dream home or that ideal commercial space, Meeks has you covered. Contact Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488, and let Rich and the team guide you on your real estate journey. Take a look at their listing at meeks.us. Back to Chick-fil-A. Text says, and hopefully Tom is listening, I wish his restaurants would offer self-serve condiments again. It's annoying to have to ask for every little detail of an order, says a texter. Welcome in, Metro News Statewide correspondent Brad McElhenney. Brad, good morning. Are you a Chick-fil-A fan?
Yes, and I was going to ask you some hard-hitting journalism. Dave, have you had one of those hot pimento sandwiches?
No, I was actually just talking about that with one of the sales weasels upstairs. I said I have not tried that yet. Anything pimento, anything hot, I'm in. I'm going to have to do that, but I'm not going to do it at Southridge because they're closed for at least a couple of weeks. But I have not. Have you had them?
Yeah, pretty good. Good addition to your repertoire. Typically, if I am getting fast food, it's because I'm in the car and I got to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. So the pimento makes it maybe a slight challenge to eat while driving.
I kind of thought about that.
In mind.
I kind of thought about that.
But it's a worthy variation on your Chick-fil-A habit.
Okay, all right.
And, speaking of sales weasels, it seems like it's up to them to send out an email sometime soon and say, hey, there's Chick-fil-A hot pimento sandwiches in the green room if anybody wants one.
Well, unfortunately, my good friend Mr. Minturn did not bring any samples in today. So that was the first thing that as soon as they found out who I had on the show, that was the first thing they asked. But he's busy, so we'll give him a pass. But I will say this, that when we do various charitable efforts up here, when we've raised money for, we just did the deal with WV Children's Hospital and so on and so forth. They the folks at Chick-fil-A, Tom Mentor and the team were awesome to provide food for not only us but our sponsors and other guests in the building. So they're really big into that. So we'll give them a pass on that. Brad, you posted a story at the website yesterday about the jail crisis in the state. Corrections Commissioner Billy Marshall quoted in the story that now our vacancies are under 1,000. Yay, but still, Brad, not nearly where they should be. Talk about that.
Yes. So, there was a legislative interim session in August where a couple things were done to try to ease the staffing crisis in the jails, essentially additional money toward starting pay and changing pay scales for corrections officers. But that hasn't really set in yet. I mean, we're at the beginning phase of that potentially bearing results. And in the meantime, the correction system has been trying to do things to make these jails jobs enticing for folks, or at least to do a better job of letting people know that employment is possible. If you're looking for a job, think of us. So some of that is incrementally bearing fruit. And as you said, the update to lawmakers yesterday is that at one time across the state, the openings in the correction system were 1,100. Now they're at 990. So a little bit better here and there. And on the whole, West Virginia lawmakers were encouraged by what they heard yesterday.
You were talking with Brad McElhaney. Of course, the governor, Brad, declared a state of emergency more than a year ago because of all the shortages in the jail system in the state, and that allowed the National Guard to get in there to help. But it's certainly, as they'll tell you, I know that they're glad to help. They'll do whatever they're told, but certainly not what they're supposed to be doing.
And if anything that happens in West Virginia, the National Guard they've got the responsibility to make it better. So that's been the case with this for more than a year. August of 2022, Governor Justice declared an emergency. That emergency is actually still in effect, despite the bills that meant to raise pay for corrections officers. So still an emergency, and still the National Guard in West Virginia's prisons, jails, and I think the juvenile centers too. I will say, just to clarify for anybody who hasn't been paying total attention, they are not generally serving as the actual guards, but they're doing support roles in the jails that open up other actual correction system staff to do the frontline functions. What Billy Marshall, the corrections commissioner, said yesterday is that over time, system hopes to reduce the number of National Guard members in the jails. And some of them, National Guard can be a part-time role in your life. So in some cases, it could be that folks who have had that experience in the jail system maybe are looking for a full-time job. And so some of those National Guard members potentially could be brought on as jail system employees.
Well, Brad, interims are continuing today. Anything in particular that you got your eye on today?
There is a meeting going on right now, a review committee of the Department of Health and Human Resources. So a couple things. You might remember that the legislature decided to break DHHR into three. Well, that is an ongoing activity. Sherry Young, who is the interim DHHR secretary and who will head up the Department of Health when there are three divisions, is speaking to lawmakers. This is a meeting that lasts 9 to 11, so I'm not sure when Sherry is speaking. Another aspect of that that's not on the agenda, but it would fall within the realm of DHHR oversight. Metro News and Chris Lawrence of our staff in particular has taken a look at that tragic story out of Sissonville where kids were being kept under unimaginable conditions in a shed. And the question has been, did Child Protective Services respond adequately to reports they heard? Chris and other reporters have had a hard time getting answers from DHHR. And so, we hope to hear from our legislative friends to bring some pressure on DHHR to answer those questions as well. That's the topic of Hoppy's commentary today. If you didn't hear that, it's on the website to read. Hoppy is also having the House Health Chairwoman, Amy Summers, as his final guest of the day, 11:45, and that's the topic that they're talking about. Why DHHR could discuss its own actions or lack of action without bringing embarrassment or further scrutiny on these children. The question is about DHHR as an agency. We in the media operating the public realm and legislators who represent communities around West Virginia have a stake in that question And I hope it comes up at this meeting, and it certainly is on talk line.
Well, and again, I don't want to be accused of piling on because Lord knows that the DHHR folks, they're hard workers, just like any other profession for the most part. 99.9% of them are hard workers and they're trying to do what's right. But yeah, again, the neighbors have reported, and it was all public record in the police report, Brad, that the neighbors reported that they had called several times and that apparently, you don't always, when you say nothing was done, you don't always know. We do know that the police actually came out there and saw that everything was okay and went from that point on. So, I got accused of kind of piling on them, and I apologize for that. But yeah, the lack of something out there, and as you said, you can release, I would think, as somebody who's done PR, you can put information out there without jeopardizing any further investigations, without jeopardizing, or as you said, embarrassing these kids that have been through hell out there, and maybe to make sure that this hopefully doesn't happen again. Brad, we haven't had you on since perhaps the worst kept secret in West Virginia politics was announced last week. The Doug Scaff switching from Democrat to Republican to run for Secretary of State. Though both of those happened within a day or so of each other. We all knew it was coming. I talked to Doug about it and just trying to get the timing right. Your thoughts on Mr. Scaff switching from Democrat to Republican and now a run for Secretary of State?
Well, best of luck to him. As he has said, there have been several party switches, but it's very rarely, if ever, been the leader of the Democratic caucus in one of the chambers, going pretty quickly from leading the Democratic caucus to saying, I'm going to run statewide as a Republican. That is quite a switch. And even more than the switch itself, the reaction to the switch, I thought was incredibly interesting because, if ever there was a cause for a beer summit between Tony Hodge and Mike Pushkin, two of your favorite guests.
Well, now let me jump in here 1 second, okay? With Tony, it's not going to be a beer segment; it will be a glass of milk, okay? And and also know that not with Pushkin either. So we're going to have a Coke or an iced tea summit between the two. But go ahead.
The iced tea summit will include mutual skepticism of Doug Scaff and his political philosophy, because the Republicans, and it wasn't Tony, I'm name dropping him because he's a guest on the show, but it was Elgin McCardle, the state GOP chairwoman, and then Pushkin on the Democratic side, both sending out press releases within minutes of each other, just, jumping off the top rope at Doug Scaff, and, both essentially saying that he had been a regular vote on the Democratic side for, some of these hot button cultural issues in West Virginia. And so that's something the Republicans don't want to see. And the Democrats were saying, look, hypocrisy. So I have no judgment on that matter myself, but I did take note of both the press releases that it was WWE tag team between the Republicans and the Democrats.
As an old school wrestling fan, I try to get as many old school wrestling tidbits as I can there. This was akin to Ole Anderson teaming with Dusty Rhodes. This is what this is. Good, one of the all-time great angles. I want to try to get this in a little bit later on the show. I've got Mac Warner coming up here momentarily, but we'll close with this, Brad. There's a new poll out that was conducted prior to Mr. Scaff getting in the race for Secretary of State that shows a person currently in the lead in the race for Secretary of State hasn't even declared he's running yet, although there is some speculation that he will. And I'm talking about Chris Warner, brother of Mac Warner. Chris, of course, a former state Republican Party chair. That's been rumored for some time that he was thinking about getting in the race. He issued a statement, I think maybe not long ago, saying that he had no interest in the statewide office. I keep hearing that it's possible, and this new poll, which I'm going to get into a little bit later on from WV Statewide, has got Chris Warner in the lead over Brian Wood, Chris Pritt, and some of the others. Now, again, this was issued before Doug Scaff officially got into the race, and Chris Warner is not even a candidate. Your take on that?
Well, it seems like maybe this would be encouraging. You
got 64%, and you're not even a candidate, so...
You're saying that makes me, it eases my guilt a little bit, though, because I wrote a story for the Metro News website about Doug Scaff's entry into the Secretary of State's office, and I listed the people, to my knowledge, who are candidates, and that's Ken Reed, former delegate from the Eastern Panhandle, Brian Wood, the Putnam County Clerk, Chris Pritt, the delegate from Kanawha County, and I did not put Chris Warner in the story. And this morning when I saw that poll, I thought, oh, is he a candidate? I feel bad. I didn't include him. But if he's not a candidate, then I can put my guilty baggage down, and it's okay.
Well, no one is officially a candidate till January anyway, so you can always go with that.
That's what I'm going with. I'm going to switch from wrestling references to auto racing references, and Chris Warner very well, in this case, could draft off of the Warner name, which has been established in that office now over 2 terms. And if he does decide to get in, he's clearly got a good chance and some name recognition.
Yeah. Brad, I know you'll be keeping an eye on the interims today, and we got that meeting going on right now. As you said, we'll be following along on the website and all of the socials. Brad McElhenney, we'll talk again soon, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dave.
Brad McElhenney, it's 22 minutes away from 10. 580 Live brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants, the only accredited commercial lab in West Virginia for asbestos and mold. Asbestos was banned in some building products, but it isn't banned for all products in the states. Don't expose your family or workers to asbestos, mold, or lead paint. Get with Pinnacle Consultants. They offer real estate environmental assessments for hazardous materials and air quality. Visit pinnaclecorp.net, pinnaclecorp.net, because what you don't know can hurt you. We're going to get to Mac Warner here in a couple of moments. Text says, Chris Warner's a joke. Ouch. But if he wants to get in and ruin the Warner family name, then go ahead. It's foolish. Well, I don't, it's a little bit harsh. A little bit harsh there. Phone calls to 580 Live are in service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by. From farm to table, Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Secretary of State and candidate for Governor Mac Warner is here from the Parmar Store Studio. 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses are small businesses with big impact, including Generations Physical Therapy and Snap Fitness.
The West Virginia Book Festival is back in Charleston for book lovers of all ages, Saturday, October 21st. Join us for the always popular used book sale, writing workshops, wordplay activities for children, and the festival marketplace. See local and New York Times best-selling international authors like R.F. Kuang, Mary Kay Andrews, William Kent Kruger, Sherry Dusky Rinker, and Nima Avashia. Don't miss the fun of the West Virginia Book Festival on Saturday, October 21st, starting at 8 a.m. at the Charleston Coliseum and Convention Center. Visit wvbookfestival.org.
Are you worried about retirement? Steig Wealth Enhancement Group is the premier retirement planning service in West Virginia. With years of experience and a commitment to personalized service, they'll work with you to create a customized retirement plan that addresses your unique needs and goals, whether you're just starting to plan or nearing retirement age. Steig Wealth Enhancement Group makes the process easy and stress-free. Visit steigweg.com for more information.
Securities and advisory service offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
The most wonderful time of the year is here. Of course, I'm talking about football season, and your local Parmar stores are ready. Hey, it's Dave Allen. And whether you need to gas up the tank, grab a bite to eat, or stock up on snacks and drinks for the tailgate party or for your own couch, Parmar's got you covered. Parmar is the official store of the West Virginia Secondary Schools Activities Commission and of Marshall University. Happy football. And remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Are you ready to make every adventure awesome? Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
19 away from 10. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. 580 Live brought to you by Brightway, the Maze Agency of Tays Valley. Buying auto insurance can be complicated. That's why you need a local, the man said, person to look out for you. At Brightway, the Maze Agency, they can customize your policies with coverages you need and want. Call John and Sherry, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymaze.com. Secretary of State and candidate for Governor Mac Warner is here. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Good to be with you.
Before I get into what you're actually here to talk about, I want to bring this up to you. Last Thursday, we had another person jump into the race for the job you currently hold, Secretary of State, that being Doug Scaff. Now, we know Putnam County Clerk Brian Wood has said he's running. Ken Reed, another former legislator, running, as is a current member of the House, Chris Pritt. There are rumors that others may get in. We talked about that earlier. Seems like a popular job to run for in 2024. I'm going to keep this really generic here, sir. Regardless of the person running, what advice might you have to anyone who wants to be the next Secretary of State?
Well, be ready for being in the middle of a lot of action, both nationally with regards to election integrity and security. West Virginia has made a name for itself. Our clerks have done a fantastic job in cleaning up voter registration lists and that sort of thing. Dave Tackett in our information technology department is become recognized across the United States as being a leader in the cybersecurity arena. Our Fusion Center has done a great job with regards to keeping us apprised of potential threats, hacking and that sort of thing. And then I can cross over, since I have the Fusion Center on my mind, and that's regard to what we just announced last week, and that was Businesses Against Human Trafficking, an initiative that is involving all of our 143,000 businesses and charities across the state, where we're trying to keep people informed about watching for human trafficking, be aware that this does happen. And so that's why we're involving the businesses. We've had a great response already to that. And so that's what I love about this job, is there are so many aspects from the elections, which creates a lot of attention, to businesses, our involvement with all the businesses across the state. There's always something bubbling in the Secretary of State's office. And now we're into artificial intelligence and generative AI, these sorts of things. We're using this, leveraging technology to make the customer experience more user-friendly and more productive and consistent in the advice that we give to businesses across the state. So it's an exciting job. Put your seatbelt on, be ready for a lot of activity would be my advice to anybody looking for this job.
Sir, you've been around politics for a while, as have I, and you'd have to admit that social media has changed everything about the world of politics, and not always for the better. I would say that social media has changed the whole world for the worse, but that's just me being a grumpy old man. I was interested to read that your office has issued a warning of sorts to several of the largest social media platforms, warning them that they need to treat all candidates fairly. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, I appreciate you talking about this. And social media has changed the world. I think a lot of people have made the analogy to as much as Gutenberg's printing press did, and that changed the world and led to the Reformation, that sort of thing, with the Bible, and putting that in the hands of the common person. Well, now the common person can put a message out to the world in a matter of seconds with the internet in today's world. So it really has changed the world of news and information around the world. So anyway, the power of these companies, and I'm talking Facebook, Google, Twitter, Rumble, and all these online media platforms, have an unusual amount of power and reach. So think of it, I like to think of them as basically a utility company. And so my analogy would be, why should a company determine what is truth, what is valuable, what's not valuable, and use their enormous power to influence an election, either for a candidate or against a candidate? And so what I'm talking about is like the deplatforming that occurred when Twitter took President Trump off of its platform. They were determining what the people got to hear and what they didn't get to hear. And then you go to the other side, which is the Hunter Biden laptop, that Facebook suppressed the story at the request of the FBI. So there are two levels of problems here. One is Facebook doing it, and the second is the FBI encouraging Facebook to do it when they knew, in fact, that the Hunter Biden laptop was real. They knew that at the time, but they suppressed that to help Biden get elected in the 2020 election. So it actually influenced the outcome of a presidential election. So what I'm saying is here in West Virginia, we want free and fair elections. So either these companies need to be neutral and fair in their application of spreading information, or they need to report this as a campaign finance contribution if they favor one side versus the other. That was the essence of the letter. And so think of, I use the utility company, but maybe a phone company is a better example. If the phone company is tapping your line and hearing you talk about politics, and they say, oh, we don't like their particular politics, so we're going to cut off their service. Or a bank that looks at your checks and sees how you're spending your money towards a certain political campaign or issue and say, oh, we don't like the way you do that, so you can't bank at our bank anymore. That's the equivalent now with what these social media companies are doing. And so either it gets technical with Section 230 protection, which is allows a company to not be responsible for what goes on its platform. So that's what these Internet companies have enjoyed the privilege of. But then when they start to exercise their own power and say, we're going to promote this, or through an algorithm suppress a story, let's say COVID-19 and vaccinations. We saw that occurring here a couple of years ago. An online platform shouldn't be able to determine whether you can say a vaccine is good or bad. It's either a conduit that simply lets you put on whatever you want, and that way it remains neutral, or if it starts to suppress one or promote one, then I think that's when they enter in. They stop being neutral. They started advocating, and in the elections world, which is, I'm the chief elections officer for the state, I'm saying if you do that in West Virginia, if you favor one side versus the other, you need to report that as a contribution in kind, as a campaign, or an independent expenditure on behalf of a candidate or a campaign.
Now, again, let's be clear. You aren't talking about limiting, at least that's the way I read your press release, limiting what individuals post, like what Dave Allen posts or Mac Warner, the individual post. You're talking about algorithms and things of that nature. You're talking about them suppressing certain things. Now, you sent this warning letter to the largest of the platforms, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, now known as X, Truth Social, Rumble, and even Google. Have you heard back from any of them?
I have not, and actually I probably don't expect to, because we did this 3 years ago with Facebook. We've been asking Facebook to be transparent for a number of years, and they've blown us off, and I expect that's what they'll do here. But when I have a candidate complain, and I have had candidates in the past complain that their messages are being suppressed, probably through algorithms, when they use a certain term, then that kicks it into somebody's spam versus going into their actual inbox. Those are the type things that I think are happening. When that happens in the future, after we've put them on notice with this, then I think that we will probably use the powers of the SEC, the State Elections Commission, to call them in and have them either testify under oath or show us the algorithms. We're going to force that transparency that they're right now are not providing us.
Secretary, let's talk about campaign for governor. How's it going?
It's going great. I think things are, the word is spreading, and I'm getting out there all over the state, getting great reception everywhere we go. But we've been talking about issues, been talking to teachers. I've been in a number of schools, and I'm hearing all the problems with hiring teachers, keeping teachers, the respect that teachers are not getting, and they need to have. They need to be able to. The discipline situation is out of control. The wokeness that has occurred in some places, not everywhere, but in some places, is out of control. Had a teacher that said that she just couldn't take it anymore when she referred to girls as girls versus students, and somebody complained that this wokeness, and they have to be careful what they say and how they say it. Teachers just want people to teach, and so I'll be a governor that will be the education governor, provide those teachers the respect, the pay that they're due, and let parents have a voice in the school and the curriculum, all those sorts of things. But we have problems, talking about the correction facilities, the National Guard, DHHR, Child Protective Services. We have problems all across the state that need to be addressed, and I plan to tackle those. I'm going to use my military background, where I've handled crises before and handled large agencies before, I worked in Afghanistan for 5 years. I've dealt with broken societies and problem societies. I worked at the Supreme Court, the Attorney General's Office, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Women's Affairs. So I'm accustomed to working with large agencies, and that's what a governor does, is he manages the large state agencies. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited to use what I've learned in the Secretary of State's office and apply it at the governor level to help all the state and to address, streamline, and make these state agencies more efficient, just as we've done in the Secretary of State's office.
Secretary of State's and candidate for governor, Mac Warner, appreciate you being here as always. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave.
8 minutes away from 10. 580 Live brought to you by Hudson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Hudson's, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and any pizzeria, only $21.99. Find your local Hudson's Pizza for dine-in, delivery, or pickup at Hudson'sPizza.com. We're back after this from the Par-Mar Store Studio 580 Live, brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Expecting a new addition to the family? Pew Furniture has everything you will need. We have a large selection of crib groups in multiple finishes. We offer several models of crib mattresses and bassinets as well. Add a cozy rocking chair and you will have a warm, welcoming room. We understand that comfort is essential at every stage of life. This is why we offer a wide range of lift chairs in many different sizes, colors, and options. These chairs are game changers. Whether you're looking for convenience or need due to medical necessity, these chairs will give you independence. When it comes to a good night's sleep, you deserve the best, and our Almost Heaven mattresses deliver. At Pew Furniture, we're not just a store. We've been part of the community since 1917. We take pride in helping you make your house a true home with 3 floors of showroom space. So why wait? Come visit us at 1320 Smith Street, Charleston, or at buypew.com. Pew Furniture Warehouse showrooms, where it's better quality furniture at prices you want to pay. Open Monday through Saturday, 9:30 to 5.
Are you ready to make every adventure awesome? Look no further than the new Thornhill Toyota. Introducing the 2023 Toyota Camry, Corolla, and RAV4. The ultimate companions for your journey. Whether it's the sleek Camry or the adventurous RAV4, we've got the perfect ride for you. And don't forget our unbeatable selection. We've got a ride for every style and budget. At the new Thornhill Toyota, we're not just selling cars, we're creating unforgettable adventures. So why wait? Visit us today and let's make every adventure awesome together. Click or come by at ThornhillToyotaWV.com or on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. See Thornhill for full details.
Elevators. You take them for granted until they let you down. If you're working to maintain a stellar reputation, then let me introduce you to DC Elevator. We want to work with you to make sure your people get where they are going. What could be better than a new company coming to the area and already having 45 years of experience? DC Elevator is bringing a new culture of elevator maintenance, repairs, modernization, and installation to West Virginia. Don't leave your people hanging. For a free consultation, call DC Elevator at 304-345-7222.
5 away from 10, the WCHS Network is giving you a chance to win tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra at the Coliseum Convention Center November 17th. All this week, listen for TSO moments throughout the day. I actually heard one of those last hour. Grab those keywords and head over to WCHSnetwork.com when you hear them. And we are counting down. Yesterday, we give away 5th row tickets. Today, it's 4th row tickets. Wednesday, tomorrow, 3rd. Thursday, 2nd row. And Friday, 1st row tickets. Your chance to win being brought to you by Putnam County Bank, where relationships matter, in the Voice of Charleston, WCHS. I need to quickly correct something I said on the show yesterday. I quoted some poll numbers that were given to me from a online media outlet, West Virginia Statewide. They were correct numbers in a poll for governor, but the poll itself was a bit old, and I do apologize for that. That's what you get for not checking it out for yourself. It was sent to me by a friend, no ill intent, just a mistake. That having been said, this is not a mistake. The same outfit, WV Statewide News, is out with a 4th quarter telephone poll for Secretary of State, and I've kind of referenced this a little bit earlier. Editors note they will be releasing poll numbers for state auditor, AG, and governor throughout the week. This poll, as I said, though, was for Secretary of State. Calls were made to Republican voters who have voted in at least 3 of the last 4 primary elections, and the poll shows that Chris Warner, brother of current Secretary of State Mac Warner, in the lead in the race for Secretary of State, even though Chris Warner isn't even in the race. Some widespread speculation that he might be. The poll had Chris Warner at 64%, Delegate Chris Pritt a distant second at 14%, followed by former legislator Ken Reed at 8%, current Putnam County Clerk Brian Wood at 6%, Steve Harris, Kenny Mann, and a few others rounding out the bottom. Some of those aren't even candidates. The poll was conducted before new Republican Doug Scaff entered the race, and it is worth noting that, again, some of those have not even declared that they are in the race. 580 Live is brought to you in part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Come see their new contractor's showroom, their lumber yard, and more. They deliver service and quality right to your door. Don't buy it until you get a quote from General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. Charleston City Council met last night. Jarrett Lewis' story posted WVMetronews.com. Council has approved millions of dollars from the unassigned fund balance to now be used for several projects, including the proposed Capitol Sports Center and the Public Safety Center. Several other projects are part of this, including demolition projects, turf to be installed at the North Charleston Community Center, converting streetlights to LED, and some heating and cooling and roofing projects for the Kanawha City Community Center. Now, back to the Capitol Sports Center, $5 million will go toward the proposed project. The mayor quoted in the story as saying that revenue is up in the city and expenses are down. Another day of fun travel in the area yesterday, and again this morning. I was one of those that was caught up in the backup on I-64 West yesterday near St. Albans. A box truck, Ryan, carrying Blue Moon beer overturned yesterday. Took several hours to get things back to normal there. Big shutdown this morning, 64 West near Milton. People, slow the blank down. It's that simple. Speed limit is 55, and this morning, with the mist and light rain as I was driving in a little after 7 or so, really it should be even less than that. Cool your jets. Just slow down. Unrelated, the new bridge connecting Jefferson Road directly to the Trace Forks Shopping Center is now open. Governor Baby Dog, along with the First Lady there yesterday, Highways Commissioner Jimmy Riston out there cutting that ribbon there yesterday as well. Let me knock out some text here. Text says, Mac Warner has done a tremendous job, and he would be an excellent governor. If Republicans replace a man like that with Scaff, Lord help us, according to a texter. Why would Republicans want to elect Mac Warner when he worked for Hillary Clinton, says a texter. I don't know about that. Mac Warner named the school in specific wokeness. Don't let him keep sniffing his... Jesus. All right, that's it. That's there's only one person ought to be rude, crude, crass, and offensive on the show, and that's the host. All right? So we're done with that. All right, my producer was Ryan Nicholson. Thank you so much. Thank you to Tom Minturn from Chick-fil-A for stopping by, Brad McElhenney, and Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Mac Warner. Coming up on the show tomorrow, the never rude, crude, crass, and offensive Millie Snyder from the Shape Shop will be stopping by. State Senate candidate Jerry Foran is on the show tomorrow, as well as Mackenzie Spencer from Festival, which is continuing. I got a schedule posted at Dave Allen Radio on Facebook. Hoppy's coming up next. I will see you tomorrow. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM, W243DRFM Charleston, and W283AQ Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.